Hey, everybody. I just want to welcome you to today's show. We are going to be talking about how to get your mind right. And then after that, we will talk about how to get your money right. We actually need to get our money right, right? To take care of our children, to take care of our families, to pay bills, to plan for the future, to save for retirement, to build a sustainable life. You need to get your mind right and get your money right if you want to achieve these goals. So, we are going to be talking about finance, and everyone listening to this call, be free to call. You can actually call and have your questions answered. Questions about your struggles with finance, questions about if you don't know what to do with your money, how to save, how to invest, and how to plan for the future. Because the rainy day is coming, and everyone at some point in life experience a rainy day, a day you never planned for. So it is very important. Or some of us, you are saving money to start a business. And you know that if you have a job and you're planning to become an entrepreneur, you have to plan for the future. Or you are an entrepreneur and you are asking yourself the question, how do I structure my finance? We know on this platform, we talk about personal finance, we talk about marketing, we talk about sales, we talk about spirituality, we talked about mindset, and everything you need to succeed. We discuss that right here: the skills, the strategy, the tips that can enable you scale, grow, and become all that you were designed on this earth to be. And that is what we uncover right here on this show. So we are focused on this program specifically on mindset and finance. So keep your questions coming in. There is a number on your screen. WhatsApp, that is wherever you are across the world. Be free to call and get your questions answered regarding your personal finance. Maybe you're watching this show and you're like, okay, maybe I've been trying to save up money to buy a house. I don't know what to do. Or maybe your partner is not in terms with you on that. I don't know what to do. Maybe I don't understand how I can prepare for my kids to go to college. I don't know how to go about it. Feel free to call. The number is on your screen right there. You can call and get your questions answered. I want to start off because today I want to discuss briefly on the Dave Ramsey's 7 strategies or the baby steps on how to plan for a sustainable financial future. I'm going to uncover that. I'll have a conversation, and from there, we are going to keep the lines open. If you have a question, feel free to call and ask that question. Before we start, I want to share a brief story with you all. I was actually watching a show yesterday because I love to see what other content creators are doing out there. As I do my research and prepare for shows or prepare for this talk, I always go ahead and do my research. So reading books is not enough. I benchmark. I look at what other competitors are doing, people in my industry, those outside of my industry, and what they are doing. I came across a very interesting video. It was an illustration actually denoting or comparing. It was kind of a comparison and contrast between a lion and a tortoise. I didn't know that a lion lives a maximum of 16 years, and the male lion lives approximately 10 years. The female lion lives up to 16 years, whereas a tortoise can live up to 200 years. That was an interesting finding. But one thing that was fascinating about it was the presenter was making fun of a tortoise, or a lion rather, and saying, if you want to live long, be a tortoise, because the tortoise moves slow. If you pick a tortoise up and take the tortoise to another spot, the tortoise doesn't resist. What the tortoise does is it just strings its head inside its shell, and you can carry it wherever you want it to be, and it will just keep walking. It doesn't look for trouble. And the lion, on the flip side, the lion roars all the time. The lion is always looking for someone to devour. And because of this tendency, he said, he speculated, he stipulated, could be the reason why the lion doesn't live long, because the lion have anger issues. So the lion needs anger management classes if the lion must live long. And my take on this is I resist that philosophy because I don't encourage anyone to be a tortoise. And so while I was discussing this with my partner, I said, okay, let's look it up, because there's always a saying that a tortoise is the wisest animal. And you might be asking yourself today, like, oh, really? We've heard sayings like that. And we thought maybe the Bible said the tortoise is the wisest animal. And when we're looking it up, it was 40 scriptures that is against the spirit of tortoise. It is a terrible thing to be slow in the eyes of God. And biblically, God compares himself to a lion. And so today, if you will take care of your finance, my goal and my dream and my plan is that you be a lion. You got to go after your finance like everything depends on it. You can't play with your money, guys. God trusts you with money, and how you use that money matters a lot as to how God will bless you more. With that, so we are going to look at Dave Ramsey's steps on how to liberate yourself from whatever financial struggle you are in right now and pave a bright future that is promising for you and your family. So with that, I would like us to jump straight into the baby step number 1. So Dave Ramsey is a very prominent author. I have some of his books right here. I've read some of his books. One of the most recent, I think, is The Total Money Makeover. That book is it's a classic. So the Total Money Makeover is a good book, a good read for anyone struggling with their personal finance. So there has been some controversy about his teaching. Some people agree with what he teaches and while others don't, and I understand why. And my goal in this program is to share the 7 baby steps to plan for a sustainable financial future. And then I'm going to give you my perspective on that from a businessman's standpoint, because there are some principles in finance that are universal, that is, they are general, and there are other principles that don't apply to people who are entrepreneurs. Because entrepreneurs see the world differently. They take risk differently. They approach life differently. And so since we don't have a lot of entrepreneurs across the world, most of the people we have jobs, they work. So these principles are basically standard, and it will apply generally and also specifically to those who are employees. So Dave Ramsey actually did an amazing, he had an amazing life. He was a businessman, but he accumulated a lot of debt. And because of that, they went bankrupt. They lost all the money that they had. And so why am I saying this? Because it's very important to understand the background of this theology or this philosophy or this idea. So he went bankrupt. And since he went bankrupt, he was struggling. He realized the worst thing for me to do. And the banks were over him. The banks were after him. They sued him. He was in a financial struggle. And because of that, after he came out of that situation, he started teaching other people not to get into debt because of the consequences of getting into debt. And he has biblical reference for that. This borrower is always a slave to the lender. And he has preached profoundly across America on subjects like this. Is it live, babe? So, okay. So if you're getting it, please, I want you to comment. If everybody, you're liking what I'm saying, you want to get your money right, please leave a comment. And as you do that, please leave a comment. Come on. Leave a comment. And as you leave a comment, get your phones ready to call. We want to help you get there. This has taken us a lot of time to prepare, study, so that together we can build an amazing financial future. So Dave, after he came out of that, he started building principles, right? He started making principles like, what do I need to do? Now that I'm started making money, what mistakes should I avoid so my life doesn't end up the way it did in the past? I don't want to be in debt anymore. I don't want my children struggling. I don't want to be able to be in a situation where I can't even help anybody. And so he started putting up these principles together. So number 1, he says, create a budget. So the number 1 principle is to create a budget. So Dave Ramsey says you should have a monthly budget. And if you have a monthly budget, that is if you're making $5,000, your goal is to say, if I'm making $5,000, I'm going to actually save some of that money, maybe $2,000 out of $5,000. And you say, I'm going to save this $2,000. And no matter what happens, that money is saved up. I'm not going to touch it regardless of what is going on. If you want to be able to break the financial hardship in your family, in your generation. Because some of you listening to this video right now, there is a reason why you jump on this video. You are probably that catalyst, that individual in your family to break the generational curse of money, the generational curse of struggling with money, the generational curse of dealing with money problems all the time. You are probably the catalyst or the person that has been chosen. Say what? Go ahead, talk. Yeah, what's up? Okay. Yeah, so with that, so the first step is to actually get a budget. Create a budget, guys. Don't joke with this. If you're married today, I encourage you sit down with your wife or sit down with your husband and say, hey, we are the people that we have been called to break this financial bondage in our family. With that, we need a budget. Get on a budget. No matter what, we're not just going to go into the store and swipe our credit cards anytime, anyhow we want. No, we will stick on a budget. That is, if we are spending $400 or maybe $200 on groceries every week, that should be in the budget. If our rent costs $2,000, we are going to save that money aside when we get this $5,000, when we get this $10,000 at the end of the month. This is going to be in the budget. We are not going to spend more than we are making, because the struggle comes when people, you make say $5,000, $10,000 and you spend $11,000, and that is you put an extra $1,000 on a credit card and you spend $11,000. If you are making $10,000 a month, you should not spend more than, if you're making $10,000, you should not spend more than $8,000. At least $2,000 should be saved aside. And if you read the book The Richest Man in Babylon, you know the first principle in that book is pay yourself first. Because I used to hear this principle, pay yourself first. I didn't understand what that meant. It simply means that you save up a portion of your salary or what you earn for the purpose of investing, for the purpose in case something happens, you'll be able to take care of yourself. Whatever that is, you don't get to spend that money. That is what it meant. Pay yourself first. I think that book is a classic. It's a good read. And I encourage you to read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. So Dave Ramsey says, create a budget. So today, sit down with your spouse. If you're alone, it is easy to make that decision and get on a budget. The goal is to break this financial hardship in our generation. Some of us, I came from a very struggling background, from a very humble background. Humble beginnings. Okay, so with that, I understand the value of money. Money was a struggle in my family. And so every time the topic of money comes up, my dad will squirm. He's going to I don't have, and all of that. So I grew up understanding that money was hard to get. And so with that, I understand there are basic principles. No matter how much you're making, you can live a comfortable life if you learn how to save or learn how to live on a budget. Okay, we're not going to live, try to compare our lives with other people or live with the Joneses or live like the Joneses live. I know of the Joneses, but this is not limiting you to not work hard, right? But at least live within your means. Get on a budget. You know, I'm a big proponent of thinking big. I'm not limiting your vision, your dreams for your life, but the budget will give you that financial leverage to say, if I save something, then if I have this dream, ambition, I can go after it. Okay, then I don't need to borrow money from people to actually invest in my business. I have something saved to bootstrap and start so that others know and believe in my vision, and then they can come on board, if that makes sense. So he says, create a budget. Number 2, he says, save for emergency. Save for emergency. And what he meant by that is you should save at least 3 to 6 months, okay, of your living expenses. That is how much it takes to cover the entire expense of your household, how much you are making. Okay, you should be able to say, the entire, like, if it takes me $5,000 to run this house, right? For example, hypothetically, let's say it costs $5,000. That is including my rent, utilities, food, gas, phone bill, whatever that is. If it costs you $5,000 to run your home, he says you should save at least a minimum of 3 to 6 months. What does that mean? That means I need to save at least $15,000 to $30,000 if it cost me $5,000 to run my home. Basic math. We get it? Yes. So you save between 6 months or 3 months to 6 months of your living expenses. Because there will always be storms, right? An accident will happen. A child will fall sick. You will need money to do something. Something will happen. You might lose your job. Or some of your customers that you trusted and hope that they will keep coming, they stop coming. Now you're out of business. At least you can live on that money for the next 3 to 6 months to get yourself together so you can be able to get back on your feet again. And so it is very important that you save at least 3 to 6 months emergency fund. Please do that. Okay, then Dave Ramsey says, after you've saved up for your emergency fund, you have this money aside, you've gone ahead and you're living on a budget right now, and then now you've saved for emergency. And then he said the third step should be pay off your debt. Pay off your debt. And there are many strategies that he goes about explaining how you can actually pay off your debt. But he said you put them all together and then you break them down into smaller pieces and you start targeting them every month. From the smallest one, you make sure you pay it off. Pay your debt. Don't live in debt. Okay. Remember, I told you stay to the end of the video because I told you I'm going to give my take on everything. But they are amazing principles, aren't they? They are. So he said, pay off your debt. So get on a plan on how to pay off your debt, tackle them from the smallest one and make sure you're able to get out of that debt. But he also makes sure that he's like you get off at least, especially the consumer debt. Because your mortgage, he says, okay, we understand you're paying your house. It's normally a 30-year plan, but there is a way, if you follow his principles, you can actually get out of that in maybe 8-10 years. You can pay off your house, even if the house costs $300,000, and that is possible. Okay. So he said, pay off your debt. Number 4, he says, invest for the future. Invest for the future. I know Dave talks about 401k. We will get to that. He talks about investing like in index funds. I think he encourages index funds. Mutual funds. I think mutual funds. He encourages mutual funds like Fidelity, Vanguard. He encourages mutual funds. I think so. But I want to get my point clear on that and make sure I'm giving you the right advice. But there are other strategies. It might be investing in a business, like I talk, saving up some money so you can put in a business that you know and trust. And you believe that your money, you get a good return on your investment. So things like that, guys. Are we getting some value out of this? If you're getting some value out of this and you believe it's a blessing to you, share with a friend, with a family, like, oh, these are amazing principles. This is why we've been struggling with money. This is why we've not gotten where we ought to be. This is why we always fight. This is why we're always angry at each other, because we don't have a plan on our finances. And guys, people are struggling in this area of their life, personal finance. Okay. Then the 5th point, he says, save for college. Some of you, you're done with school. School is not a big deal for you anymore, but it is. Your children are going to go to school someday. And so he says, start planning for their school. Start saving for your children's school fees. Children are the future of tomorrow. And so we should plan and save for their future. And he said, the way you do this is to start preparing now. That is when you collect your salary, say you're making $5,000 and you know your entire household, or maybe you're making $10,000 and your entire household cost maybe say $7,000 to run, and you have $3,000 and you're able to save say $2,000, and then you have maybe $1,000 left. You can say, okay, I'll put $500. Maybe you have 2 kids and you say, I'll put $500 here and $500 here, and make sure that I prepare for them when they are ready to get to school. And there are banks that offer amazing programs that you can put that money inside and it will compound over time. And if your school fees, maybe say your kids decide to go to college and it costs maybe say $90,000 and that bank, and you've saved up maybe say 30 or maybe 60, the bank can actually double that money or fill up the balance, or just say, okay, they're going to put up some money on it to make sure it is 90,000 for your kids to go to school. That banks offer amazing programs like that. I think Bank of America offers that. I think Fidelity offers that as well. So those are amazing programs that you can start putting money into it, so that when your kids are ready to go to college, they don't have any money hang-ups. They don't have struggle with money, right? Isn't that cool? So he says save for that. You can save and even bless a relative in the family. An amazing kid that you see is smart and want to do well with their life, and you're like, oh, guess what? I'm going to sponsor you. Okay, so it's amazing. Just save it. Even if you're not married, it's a good thing to start doing. Even if you don't have kids yet, it is a good thing to start doing, because the bank compounds the money, and not only that, they can actually complete the rest and help your child go to college, which is amazing. We will talk more about that. I just want us to run over the Dave Ramsey's principles. So the number 6, he says, pay off your mortgage early, which is what I was talking about. Paying off your mortgage early is actually coming up with a system that can help you get out of your mortgage in the next maybe 8 to 10 years. I'll do a little bit of research on that as well to make sure that I give you guys the actual facts. I know a little bit of how that works, but I'm going to make sure that I say exactly what you take and use, and it's going to work for you, or you do your own research after I deliver the message, and it's going to be relevant to you, if that makes sense. So that is it, guys. So pay your mortgage early. Don't hang around your mortgage for 30 years. If you can get rid of that mortgage, say 10 to 15 years, that is good. So you can be free to have the financial freedom that you want and be able to invest in other stuff. Are you really enjoying this? If you're enjoying it, I want us to make this interactive. So I'll actually talk on the last point, and after I do that, the floor will be open for questions to start coming in. So get your phones ready. The number is going to be on the screen, and please, your questions are welcome. So number 7 is build wealth and give. This is huge, guys, because some of us will get confused. I know some of us are religious on this platform. We're in church. I know. So what I'm saying is different from the giving in church, like your tithes and all of that. Your offering and tithe is different. So he's talking about giving. Some of us try to give to people, some of them siblings, some of them friends, some of them charity organizations, when we don't even have. And sometimes we don't prioritize all of these steps, because after he struggled over the years, he realized that if these things are arranged in this chronological order and I follow them, I'll have a good life. There's some certain age in life where you should be focused on building yourself, building your dreams, so that when you have money and you start giving to people and charity and all of that, you're not hurt. When you give, at least you have a capital, you have an investment, you have a return, you have cash flow, you have money coming up, like you have some money coming in every month or every week, that even if you give, you're not hurt. Because sometimes you give and you're like, oh, this money I gave, I would have invested in this. Oh, this opportunity came up. I don't know what to do. I don't have money. Now I got to call the bank. I got to call a friend. Whereas you had that money, and if you made that wise decision to save it up, you would have invested that money. Does that make sense? So he says build wealth. And all of these plans and all of these steps is to enable you to build wealth so you can be generous. And what Dave Ramsey says, which I believe is, if you are a crafty person and you have money, you only be more of what you are. Money will only make you more of what you are. And I believe that. If you're a generous person and you're wealthy, you'll be a generous person. You'll give generously. But if you are a greedy person and you have more money, money will only make you more greedy. Does that make sense? It will only make you more of what you are. And so he says, let's have a plan. And when you have this plan, you execute according to this plan. Be generous. Give to people. Give to charity organizations. You might not give to church. Maybe I'm not an advocate that you should pay your tithes. That is good. But I'm saying, even if you will not give to the church, look for some cause that advances humanity, that you know in your heart that God would have loved this kind of mission to be going on earth, and I want to be part of this charity organization, and you fund it and you support. That is very important. When you do that, guys, your life begins to unfold in different dimensions, and you meet other amazing people. Blessing comes in your life. God rewards you and all that. So, guys, those are the 7 steps to a financial freedom. Dave Ramsey teaches. He has a university, Financial Peace University, and amazing stuff. This is my take on this. These principles are amazing. I know people like Grant Cardone, or maybe Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'll create another podcast just to show you their different opinions on money. So that will be a whole different podcast. But for this now, I just want to say these principles are amazing. They are timeless. If you have a job and you know that job pays you well, take these principles and apply them diligently, chronologically. You will live an amazing life on earth, because not only are these principles amazing, I believe that they are divine inspired to help people get out of debt and plan for their future. That is what I think. My disagreement with some of the content is the structure. Because if you're an entrepreneur, you know sometimes saving is not the best idea for you. Investing in the stock market or investing in some mutual fund might not be the best idea for you. Why? Because you are a risk taker. And so when you see opportunities, guess what? You want to risk. You want to be able to invest in those opportunities. You will risk that money so that you can invest in that opportunity and be able to profit. So that is the difference. So there's more I can talk about this, but I want to let you know, if you have a job, because this message is directed towards people that have a job and want to live an amazing life. But there is more to it. So what I'm saying is, if you are having a job and you want to build a career in a company, take these principles and apply them diligently. You will be amazing. You will live a life that is free of debt. You will not have any financial hardship. You'll be able to provide for your spouse and your family. You'll be able to give generously. You'll be able to provide for your children when they are ready to go to college, or if they are married, you can bless them, because that's something we don't think about. It's amazing in America. If when a child is getting married, parents say, hey, I'm going to finance your wedding. And that's amazing, because they planned, they save money. They don't like, oh, you're married now, I want to take from you. No, you're married, I want to bless you. We want to bless you, that bless your union. And so we'll buy you a car, we'll buy you a house, we're going to pay for your wedding. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And that is what God wants for us. And if you're listening right now, that is how we should be planning to change the way things have always happened within our community, to think of blessing our children. Let us be a blessing to our children. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And so on that note, I want you to keep your questions coming right now. What do you think? If you have any question regarding finance, you have hardship in your family, you're struggling with your spouse on getting on the same page with money. So keep your questions coming in right now. I'm going to start answering questions. The number is right there on the screen. You want to have that number on the screen a little bit and have them calling? Yeah. So we'll have the number on the screen right there. So you go ahead and call. Okay. So you can call or on WhatsApp or text on WhatsApp as well. Your text is very, very welcomed as well. So you must not call if you don't want to. So the number is on the screen there. Is the number there? Okay, so you have the number right there on the screen. So you can go ahead and text or call, and we are going to respond to your questions on how to structure your finance, plan for a better financial future. So we keep the questions coming in.
Somebody saying, I don't have question. Wait.
Okay, someone just said, I don't have a question now, but I'm always what? But you always inspire me with your talks. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. And I thank you for this comment. And this is on WhatsApp. So keep your reactions coming. If you feel blessed by the message, a comment like this will help for us to also know that this message that we are preaching of financial freedom is blessing you. And so share the video, encourage friends, encourage your relatives to jump on board and get connected together. We can be able to get over this money complex thing, be able to build amazing businesses, to be able to live a life that is full of amazing stuff. And that is exactly what we're doing here. We want you to live the best life that God created you to live, to be able to provide for your family, to build amazing businesses, to market, to sell. Okay, so just keep your reactions coming, keep your questions coming. It might be a good comment, it might be a question. What are you struggling with in your finance? Yes, we will not disclose your identity. We can read the question without your name, so that's fine. It might be something you just thought about. Yeah, so whatever that is, please don't hesitate to ask that question so that you get clarity. I was listening to a very renowned man of God yesterday. He said something very amazing. And I just want to add that as we are talking about finances, even business, even life. And he shared a story about Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs was 12 years old, Steve Jobs, you know him, the owner of Apple. He created Apple computers. When he was 12 years old, he was actually struggling with a question. And what he did was he looked for the emails of the most wealthy people in his city, and he wrote them, asking them questions about what he was struggling with. And when he did, many of them didn't reply. But I think the CEO of Xerox or PHP, or a very renowned computer company, replied and gave him answers to the questions he was asking. Amazing stuff, guy. And he said when he received that response, he said, means the problem that I'm dealing with is not asking questions. And he said, from today, everything is possible. Why? Because there's someone out there that is able and willing to answer my questions. And if all you need is to be able to ask questions. No question is dumb. Guys, a closed mouth is a closed destiny. And not only that, the Bible says, ask and you shall receive. You have not because you ask not. So if you're able to ask questions, no matter how the questions might look, that is a catalyst to you unlocking an amazing future for yourself. So I encourage you to learn how to ask questions. And as you watch this show, so with that, I just want to run over the 7 principles again of Dave Ramsey. If you never wrote the points down, so you can go ahead and write them down. Okay. Someone watching right now, I want you to type them down. Type them under the comments. So people who are watching should read. Number 1, create a budget. Create a budget. If you're making 10,000, create a budget. You shouldn't spend more than what you're making. Number 2, save for emergency. At least 3 to 6 months of what it takes to run your entire household. Save that money between 3 to 6 months at least. If something happens, you lose your job, you can be able to provide for your family in the next 3 to 6 months so you don't get into financial struggle. And number 3, he says pay your debts off. Pay off your debts. That is, if you owe people, you owe the bank, you owe money, whatever that is for, you have a strategy and you pay it off. Number 4, he says invest for the future. A certain portion of your money should be saved to invest. That is paying yourself first. You save for the future. Number 5, he says save for college. Save for your children's college. It's going to cost. So start preparing now and save for it. Number 6, he says pay off your mortgage early. In America and in most developed countries, what they do is if you don't have money, you go to the bank. If you don't have money to buy, say a house costs $300,000. If you equate that to your currencies, some currencies, it's approximately hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Hundreds of millions in your currency. So he says, since it's expensive, what happens in America is people go to the bank and they say, hey, I don't have money, but I have good credit. Credit means I have a good track record of spending money well, and not only that, I'm able to pay my debt on time. And so you're somebody that can be trusted. Yeah. So with that, the bank can say, because of your record, because of your credit history, because you're able to pay off your debt early, what they do is they'll say, hey, okay, you are qualified. They'll pre-qualify you. There's a lot. We'll talk about that in a whole different video on the entire mortgage system. So what happens is we will give you this money. All you need to do is maybe put in 20% or 30% of, say, 300,000. And when you put that 20 or 30% down, or 10% in some cases, then what we are going to do is we are going to give you the house. And then there's an amount you'll be paying every month for 30 years. And then you'll be able to clear off that 300,000, and then the house now will be yours. So many people in America, if not maybe 70% of Americans, have mortgages, hypothetically. So he says, pay it off early. And he says there's a way you can pay that in, say, 8 or 10 years. So we will go into that in a later video. So then the last point is build wealth and give. When you've built an amazing business, be an extremely generous person. You've seen this happen in the lives of Bill Gates and other wealthy people. Elon Musk, they have amazing charities that they support across the world. They build wealth first. So these principles are not only derived from the Bible, they are derived from the most wealthy people that they've seen out here. You see, they become generous, extremely generous in their 50s after they have built wealth in their life, and then now they are giving. Some of you try to give when you don't even have. Some of you try to give and you cannot even pay your bills. You cannot pay for your business because you want to show people you're a good person. And it's not like you're a bad person, but you have a plan. So that is the case. Okay, so on that note, guys, I hope you got some value out of this. So we will keep coming up with topics like this, and whatever topic you want us to cover, you can also leave that in the comment section. If you want us to cover a topic on maybe finance or marketing or sales or business or growth and all of that, whatever that is, spirituality, your faith, your mental stability, or maybe you're not actually mentally stable, because it's very important to have stability in your mind if you want to pursue your dreams. So if you have any struggle in any of these areas, leave it in the comment section. We will cover that in a program, and everybody else, many other of people watching, will benefit from it. And together we will build an amazing question. And the questions you always have in your mind, someone is also thinking about it. And so us answering that question here is going to give clarity to other people who had the similar question, but didn't know how to word it or ask it like you do. So I hope you got tons of value out of this video. I'll see you in another edition. Stay blessed. Stay on your grind. Trust the process, trust God, believe in yourself, believe in your vision and your dream, and everything is going to unfold, and you realize your dream as you move along, and nothing will stop you. So stay blessed and have a good one.